Hello, making a video. Paint process video. And I need to reflect on the day and relax. I had some rather terrible encounters today. But, my message to teenagers out there is, if you encounter someone who is mean to you, for whatever reason, you can block the person and not talk to them. You don't have to be friends with any of these people. When they are aggressive and mean and they cross your boundaries, you have to block these people and not put up with it. Not think for a second that they were right. When someone is hostile and aggressive to you. So the good people, the real kind people, are not hostile and aggressive. Whatever the subject is about. When someone insults you, that means that they're totally angry and they got psychological problems and they're crossing your boundaries. That's what that means. And you can block that person. It's very important to block these people. And then to clarify your point of view to all these other people that are bystanding, so to speak, that are just watching the fight, basically. To those people, you can explain why you argue the way you do, why you see things the way you do, and you have to give them facts and figures. Very important, and very important to always stand up for the animals and for yourselves. Very important. And for justice in general. There's a lady, a journalist lady, very young girl. Her name is Lauren Southern. I subscribe to her. I love that woman. I love that courageous, amazing warrior lady. And I highly recommend her channel to people. Very informative. It sheds a light on psychology, on group psychology and group dynamics, and how people react, and how people completely lose touch with any kind of awareness about themselves, about their own reactiveness, and so on, and their own double standards. So, and she's pointing all of this out just by basically showing the mirror. She's just showing the mirror in form of a camera, shining the camera at them and then shining it back at them. And saying, this is how you reacted. Do you think that's fair? And people get real mad. They get mad when someone does that. They get mad when someone, even just in words, points out the double standards. The ego hates it. The ego hates it when it is being exposed for its own lies and contradictions. But it's good garlic. It is a burning, sizzling garlic. The garlic of truth. And that needs to come into people's festering neurotic wounds. That garlic, that needs to come into all wounds. Healing garlic. It is healing. The plant garlic is healing wounds and or any kind of infections, and the garlic of truth heals all these neurotic wounds. So when you are a teenager, anyone out there who's a teenager, you're a new person in this harsh world. Protect yourself. When someone is mean to you, you do not have to put up with them. You can block them. If you're a caring person, you have the right to stand up for justice. And if someone has a problem with that, then they are the asshole, not you. If someone justifies, let's say someone justifies a religion that sanctions rape, anyone, if people really think about this just for a second, and about almost any woman on the planet would say, yeah, no, if it's not their religion, they would go, let's say if we call it the religion, the order of the rapists, or whatever, some kind of cult or whatever. Any woman, even all these women from very oppressive religions, they would suddenly say, yeah, they're finger pointing, they're wrong, yes, that's wrong. But, they don't see the analogy to their own religion with this. If someone comes in with an analogy just to make a point about their religion, they don't even get it. Because they're so confused and so taken up by that and so beaten down by it that they don't see the analogy. They don't even know what that person's actually trying to say. I've seen that many times with many people in my life and family too. They see the faults of someone else, but they don't see their own. And they're very quick to finger point and say, yeah, ha, 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 he or she is wrong. I am not wrong. Ha, ha, ha. There's no correlation at all. So I think it is extremely important for people to point out injustice, even if it presses on someone's ego or someone's identification with something, whether it is meat eating, manliness associated with meat eating, which has nothing to do with meat eating, but it has been misunderstood as that. It was drilled into people as that. Matter of fact, this meat causes men to grow man boobs. It's true. This is a scientific fact. I've seen it with my own eyes. I was shocked. One time I saw a man who had almost as big boobs as I have. I was absolutely shocked about this. My goodness. I had to snicker. I couldn't help it. He was standing like two people in front of me at the cash register. Oh my gosh. And by the time he got to the cash register, I mean, that guy was fat also, but I mean, he had unusually big man boobs. And it was, and that was not a transvestite. And that guy didn't even feel self-conscious at all about it. I mean, I was absolutely shocked. And it's very clear where that comes from. It comes from meat. Yeah. There's tons of estrogen in meat. And people consume this totally recklessly. They don't care what animals suffered. Yeah, they have to pay the karmic price with man boobs, and they don't see the connection. I mean, they're not even informed at all. And if someone says something about this, they just, instead of getting informed, instead of like, hey, thanks for that information, now I know what not to do anymore. No, instead of that, they get totally worked up, they get enraged, they want to hit someone over the head. Yeah, that's the sad truth about people who are in denial. Very sad. All of this. There is so much denial in the world. It's unbelievable. It's epic. I don't even know where to start with it. And they are in the majority, the people that are in denial. And then a teenage star child comes into the world, totally sensitive and everything, sees the injustice, hey, wait a minute, what are they doing there? And the mob of psychopaths falls over them and beats them up with words, bullies many people to death for being different than they are or for pointing things out. And then the kids often go into this, the Stockholm syndrome state, shock state, and they will let these bullies do that to them, and they think that the bullies must be right because they are in the majority or something. A kid is very likely to fall into that. So that's why I make these videos for you, because you are right and they are not right. So you have to believe in yourself. When you are a caring person, you have to believe in yourself. It's very important. When you stand up for justice, you have to believe in yourself and in your cause. When you are caring, you are right. It doesn't matter if someone calls you Adolf Hitler. Let them call you whatever they want. It's not your problem. You're not Adolf Hitler. You're not a dictator. You're just trying to make things better in the world. We don't want to let people gaslight us. Gaslighting is when someone tries to make you think that you are crazy. That when they say you're a tin head, or take that aluminum foil off your head, or whatever they come up with, all these. That's gaslighting. Gaslighting happens in a very bold way, some very obvious ways, and it happens in very covert and underhanded ways as well, in very subtle ways where you don't even know exactly what happened. It happens in all of these ways, but trust your gut instinct. Trust your gut. Ask yourself, why did this conversation make me feel so bad? Ponder over it, and you will find the answer. They were gaslighting you. So block those people. Block them right away, particularly when you're a teenager. You don't want to get into a debate with older people who have been trained in focus type of corporate psychological bullying sessions on how to defeat or on how to make animal rights people defeated or make them feel depressed. I don't even want to say it. So all of this is happening. That's that's just obvious. This is obvious. I see it. It's obvious. And the biggest conspiracy of all conspiracies out there is that is really the biggest thing. It's not a theory. It's a fact. The biggest conspiracy, the actual factual conspiracy that's out there is that the corporate agenda came up with conspiracy theories. And guess why they did it? They did it because they can manipulate you with it. They can manipulate the wider public. Even I used to be naive. Even I am. That is just a joke. I used to be naive, just like everyone else, and then I got into it, and I read a bunch of books, some of them conspiracy books, and I was like, I don't know, this sounds like it's a little bit not quite well. And yeah, then I realized these conspiracy theories, they come from the corporate agenda to make people think that the corporate agenda or the Illuminatis or the Freemasons or whatever, Skull and Bones, that those societies have much more power over society than they actually do. that just that's just a conspiracy theory that that sort of lied itself into existence by by making people think they have power when they don't have that much power. You know who has power? The consumer has power. If you don't buy into it literally, then they don't have power over you. They only have power over you if they can sell you the washing powder or the manly deodorant or an entire agenda, as you know, telling you what's manly and what is not, so that they can keep their production line going in one very negative field or another, and they can keep their, they can keep the weapon manufacturers going, they can keep the military going. The military keeps the weapon manufacturers going. That in turn keeps the United States going and its entire economy, which is a war-based corporate economy. It just sits on market perpetuations and not on doing anything good. So, yeah. And that's why, in that sense, Europe has been better, has been more ethical, and promptly you see it. You see market results come out of. It's a direct karma. I'm telling you, this is direct karma. Direct karma is direct cause and effect. So they have better education. They're more conscientious. They're more conscientious, so they create better education. Thus, people are more educated. Thus, people are more conscientious because they're more educated, less religious, less brainwashed, and they make better products. And then comes this, suddenly people in the United States go like, oh, things from Japan and Germany are good. I wonder why. Yeah, but they don't really think about why. They just go, then it becomes something like, it's not even spoken about, but it becomes, suddenly you see a commercial that says European style shampoo. Wow, you wonder, why would this be called European style shampoo suddenly? What is a European shampoo better? Ah, maybe it is better. Maybe they put better ingredients into it. Maybe people pay more attention. Maybe people have been better educated. Maybe they're less brainwashed by religion. Ah, okay. So you see, the big corporations, they know about all of this. They know this entire domino effect. But even though they know all of this, they know that they are ruining their own economy with their greed. They don't care. They only care about this. Well, if I don't pick up the penny, then Bill Gates will. If I don't drill that oil over there, then someone else will. Bill Gates will. Or if I don't create spyware doctor and swallow up people's books that they have worked on for 3 years, and if they don't give me the money to unfreeze their computers, then someone else will do it. That's actually happened to me. It's amazing. Lucky for me, I like to write. So I just write another book then. Because I'm not gonna give in to something like this. Just because my computer is frozen in by spyware. Doctor. Pharmaceutical doctor. I don't even need quotation marks for that. So, yeah, that's a reality. That is the bitter reality. That is the bitter pill of reality and politics here in the United States of America. America. I've been accused of being American. They didn't hear my accent because I was just writing. I am just as critical about Germany or any other country because I'm an Earthian. I see things from a wider perspective. I don't identify with a flag. I don't even identify with being an Earthian. I just happened to be born on Earth. So maybe one day I will move to Mars. I don't know. With Elon Musk. Then I will say, now I'm a Martian, but I was born on Earth. I'm a Martian immigrant. There's something terribly wrong in every single country on Earth. Right? And most humans, no matter what their skin color is, most humans are very neurotic. That's a fact. I'm not making that up. It's a fact. And most people, they cry, victim, I'm a victim, victim, I'm victimized. It's all their fault. It's all someone else's fault, not mine. Yeah, that's what humans do. Because nobody feels responsible, as Judy Krishnamurti pointed out. We're all responsible, and we're all capable, and we're all powerful, powerful buildings. We're building blocks of power. And people don't realize that. They put themselves into an impotent state of mind. I've been in that situation myself. I've blamed my mother for everything. Everything was my mother's fault. And I even said that to her. I feel so bad about that now. I feel so bad about that. Because now I see it from a wider perspective. Whatever, my mother did a lot of humongous mistakes, but she didn't know better. Okay? She just didn't know better. If she had known better, she would have done it better. So she didn't know better, but it taught me not to have children. That's a good thing. Because I would have probably also not been the way I would have wanted to be for the child. I would have probably, I don't know, maybe I would have been overprotective. I don't know. Being overly protective, I don't know. It depends. It depends in which way. It can be very neurotic too, that can limit the child. So, I don't know. If I don't let the child get out of the house ever, that can be, then I will make my child a prisoner because I had been underprotected. Then I will go into the other extreme or something. Most people will pass on the exact same trauma to their children. But it was better that I didn't. That I did not even do that. That was much better. Why should we do this? If we really think about it. What an idiotic thing to do, to breed. That's so incredibly idiotic, particularly when we live in such an incredibly hostile world. with such unspeakable dangers. And then people recklessly, oh, I want a baby with him. Oh, my Prince Charming. Oh, God. My goodness, adopt a dog. Prince Charming can adopt a dog just as well. If he's really a Prince Charming, he's gonna love the dog equally much and more than the biological child. Because dogs deserve to be infinitely loved by us, more than our own biological children. That's how I view it. Because dogs are gods. They are innocent. They are so innocent that it aches in my chest. So, and that's why I have this channel, Kenny Redwood, my former dog, support group, because I want people who are kind-hearted and who have been bullied by bullies. I want those people to come to my channel and make me a video, okay? Have the courage, make me a video. I don't have too many viewers on this channel, so you don't have to be afraid that too many people are watching it. I will be watching your video. I will make you one in response if you make me a video. You can ask me questions, you can share your story with me, you can cry with me all the way. You can cry for an hour in that video. I will watch your video and I will make you a video in response. Okay, you can really talk everything out that you always wanted to talk about. I think that's very important for all of us, but particularly for teenagers. I feel so strongly for all these innocent teenagers that are being bullied. Some of them are amazing angel souls and God level souls. I don't want them to be bullied into the ground. I don't want that to happen. When I go into chat room, first thing that happens is I'm being insulted by the next person that's there. This is always what's always happening. There are people, they don't know other than to insult people. That's their only way. That's the only way they know how to communicate with someone, which shuts all the communication off right away, of course. And then they go, see, I'm a victim. No one loves me. But they sabotaged this themselves. It's the bullies who feel the most victimized all the time. It's the bullies who feel wronged. When they feel threatened with their egos, the first thing they do is insult someone. Or when someone makes them feel insecure, by being different, the insult, it's a knee-jerk reaction. Don't take that personally. If you care, if you're a caring person, you are a wonderful, precious, amazing being. Okay? And the world needs you. This is a fact. And I want all people to practice this and learn how to stand up for themselves. Life is a school. It's not about, life is not about fulfilling that fairy tale dream, that we have been told when we were children. I know that all so well. I had a child therapist, and she meant very, very well for me. She just meant she wanted to help, and she helped me a lot too. She also helped me with her self-invented fairy tales that were customized for my own emotional needs. But the problem was these fairy tales, and as with all fairy tales, that my parents read to us, is there are promises, even though they are subconscious promises, but there are promises in those. And the promise is, now you're a child, but when you're grown up, you're gonna be this glamorous princess, and you're gonna find your glamorous Prince Charming. So, and then when we grow up and we find ourselves in a punk bar with dirty, torn clothes, smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol, and not glamorous and not healthy and not wholesome at all. And then, just being abused, ripped off by people, by drunks or drug addict boyfriends, whatever, They don't know how to act. They're victims themselves of neurosis. And then we wonder, where is that princess now that I was being promised? How come I'm not a princess? How come I'm this self-sabotaging, nervous wreck? And no one told us that, you make it happen. It doesn't come from outside. But see, this is why I think the fairy tales, they fall into that same. And then there was a guy named Bruno Bettelheim, a psychologist from Germany, who wrote a book, Fairy Tales Are Good for Children, and stuff like this. Yeah, it depends which fairy tale it is. The fairy tales that we were read, and the Bruno Bettelheim, he was my parents' or my grandfather's generation. So those fairy tales that he's referring to, they were definitely not good for us, because they were lies. They were also telling us, because they're still archaic. They still have the religiousness in them. Written by Gebrüder Grimm in 1800 sometime. They still had the religiousness full force going, even in Europe, without even knowing it. My parents thinking they're unreligious. How many religiousnesses have I been growing up with? How many religious statements that come from the religion, from the Lutheran? I'm from northern Germany, so that's the area where Martin Luther, the monk, lived. in northern Germany, and they are, they're the Protestants, the Protestant Lutherans. The Lutherans were the Protestants against the Vatican, against the Roman Catholics. And but the Protestants, they're even worse than the Roman Catholics. They really are neurotic and completely misguided. It's incredibly sad. And so how many things came from my parents in terms of anti-information bits and pieces that still came from that religion, that unconsciously still lingered in their vocabulary. That's why words are very, very, very potent educators or anti-educators. We need to really investigate our language, and we need to really recycle a lot of words. A lot of words. Like, for example, in German, we have this word herrlich. Herrlich means wonderful. But what's the root of the word herrlich? Herrlich comes from Herr. H-E-R-R. Herr. And Herr means Mr. Means, the gentleman, whatever title the title of the gentleman, Mr. or Sir or whatever, Herr. And then Herr and then the last name. So that's how they address each other, which is super, super awkward and everything. I don't like that at all. I don't like that. The official you they use. It's a complicated, emotionally complex and awkward language. It really is. It was so much easier to live in the English areas. So much easier to communicate with people. I don't have to be worried about now which way of addressing this person now. Some people fall right in between, and then I don't know what to do. And so it's always been a problem. But that Bruno Bettelheim, that guy definitely came from the old school of fairy tales that had religiousness in it, and that told people unempowered people. And the word herrlich comes from Herr and Herr, and with other words it says a man is the great guy and the woman, and now comes the best part of it. The woman is addressed with dame. In England, the woman of nobility gets the title dame. In Germany, the same word dame, Dame, pronounced in German, means also kind of, a rather sophisticated lady or something. And so, and the word dämlich in German is very interesting. Dämlich means kind of retarded. And dämlich comes from the words directly derived from the word Dame or dame. So the man is glorious, wonderful, herrlich, and the woman, the dame, is dämlich, which means a little retarded. So there we have a whopping chunk of sexism right there in our language. Still used to this day, those words, in England and in Germany. So that's just one out of gazillions of examples for words that need to be recycled really desperately. But there are words that need to be recycled more desperately than this, for sure. For example, the word anthropomorphizing. That word is coming from anthropocentrism, from an anthropocentric view. Anthropocentric means, the human is put into the center of the universe. Everything else revolves around the human, which is an illusion. And it is speciesist to think that way. No, I'm still making a video right now. So I'm in the middle of some word exploration and he's taking me right out of it. So the word anthropomorphism comes only from those type of people who put the human at the center of the universe, because they are using that word as an accusation against people who do put animals on the same level as themselves, which is the right way of looking at the world, because the animals are our equals. They are our equals. They feel the same things. They feel the same pain, the same sensations, the same ASMR, the same love, and so on. The same serotonin, the same oxytocin hormone release when they're being petted, just like we are. Okay, mutual benefit. But then there are the speciesists who will come in and say, you are anthropomorphizing. You are projecting your human characteristics onto an animal. Okay, that's what anthropomorphizing means. So this word anthropomorphizing needs to be recycled, because there's no such thing as, we don't anthropomorphize. We're not projecting our stuff onto the animals. The animals are us already, without us projecting something onto them. They are us. They are like us. But the speciesists don't want to acknowledge this. So that's why they accuse us of anthropomorphizing. My dad has done that to me many times. And it didn't make any sense when I was a child, even. And then he said the dogs don't want that, and I just couldn't. It didn't make any sense. Why wouldn't the dog want that? Me petting them and putting a blanket over them, and the dog feels exactly the same things. Dogs get cold.